On your marks, get set, go. 8 excited schoolboys raced down the track. Eric was soon in front, his head back and his legs pumping. He broke through the finishing tape well ahead of the others. He was one of the best athletes at Eltham College. Athletics was great fun, but it was hard being at boarding school, so far away from his parents in China. Eric longed to go back. Maybe he would one day. China was his home, even though he was British. When he got to his senior year, people started to talk about his future. Do you think Eric will be able to run in the Olympics? A teacher asked. He is, after all, the fastest man in Scotland. But Eric was getting ready for something else. Eric was going to speak to a crowd of people about Jesus Christ. I might not be ready to speak, Eric thought to himself, but I know that God is ready to forgive those who trust in his Son, Jesus. That was what Eric had to tell to his audience. I'm ready now, he smiled. Are you ready for church? Eric's mother asked one Sunday morning. Eric wasn't a child anymore, he was a man, but it was still great to have his parents back in Scotland. During the holidays, all the littles, including Eric's brothers and sisters, Robert and Ernest and Jenny, stayed together in Edinburgh. Sunday was a special day for the little family. It was a day set aside for God. They gathered with other people who loved Jesus, listened to the Bible, and sang praises to God the Father. Eric's in the Olympic team, Jenny squealed. Isn't that wonderful? I'm sure he'll win. I've got to get ready first, Eric laughed. I've got a lot of training to do. Eric had won lots of races over the years at school and at university. However, he still had to keep fit in order to run his best. During one race, Eric showed how fit he really was. He had been tripped up accidentally by one of the other athletes. Everyone was sure that Eric had lost. However, he picked himself up and began to run again. Yard after yard, Eric ran like the wind. Then he threw his head back, and the spectators knew something special was going to happen. He caught up with the other runners. Then he passed them, and then he cut through the finishing tape. What a race! Eric was exhausted. People were sure that Eric was ready for the Olympics now. He might even win a gold medal, they thought. But later on, Eric heard that some of the Olympic events were being held on a Sunday. Eric exclaimed, I won't run on the Lord's day. I am going to keep God's day holy. The British team did not want to lose Eric from the Olympic Games. There was only one thing for it. He would have to run in a completely different race, and one he hadn't trained for. The 400 meters was a lot longer and harder than the 100-meter sprint that he had been preparing for. Would Eric be ready in time? In the year 1924, the Olympics were taking place in Paris. The city was full of excited people waiting to watch the games. When the 11th of July arrived, Eric was getting ready in the changing room. A piece of paper was put into his hand. There was a Bible verse on it that said, He who honors me, I will honor. This was really encouraging. The note reminded Eric that God was in charge of everything. Obeying God's word was the best thing Eric could do. As soon as the starter's pistol sounded, Eric was off down the track at full pelt. There was such a long way to go to the finishing tape. The spectators wondered if Eric would be able to keep up the pace. One by one, Eric passed all the other athletes until he was up in front. Then he threw his head back and pumped his legs with all the energy he had. Eric Liddell was the winner. He thanked God for giving him the strength. Once all the excitement was over, Eric left for China. He was ready for a new stage in his life. He was going to be a missionary like his parents. Eric still competed in athletics now and again, but he spent most of his time telling others about Jesus. He also became a husband and father. Life was quite different now. Life was different for lots of people. The Second World War had started. Europe and America were fighting, Germany and Japan. Eric put his wife and children on a boat for Canada, where they would be safe. They all hoped that he would join them soon. However, this did not happen. Nobody was ready for the Japanese when they attacked.